Everybody, good morning. Welcome back to Forever United TV. Adam here with all of your Manchester United news. We're talking what the possibilities are of incomings for Manchester United as RUBEN Amorim pleads with the Manchester United board, hierarchy, whatever you want to call them, over getting two more players in. Update on Senny Lammers this morning. More talk on Agame this morning. Also, front pages of the Italian newspapers, according to Damasio, with Rasmus Højlund all over the front of them. So updates from there, and also Garnacho. They're your main outgoing stories as well this morning. Let's get into it. Let's get the live chat going as well, everyone, and get involved in the show. Let's get straight into everything that's happening with Manchester United. We've got you covered, obviously. I want to get your questions in and your thoughts on where we're at now, 20th of August. So how do you feel right now with literally 11 days, 12 days, in fact, left to go in this transfer market? Less than 2 weeks. Are you confident that United can get anything over the line? And what's more important, Manchester United targeting two players for approximately £40 million. That being the goalkeeper and that being that holding midfielder. Let's get straight into the thoughts of Agame first. Lucien Agame. Obviously, that was the topic yesterday. So, waiting, reading, looking around, waiting for that update from one of the big guns. Now, usually at this point, if a smaller account or a smaller journalist, whoever it be, reporting on a possible transfer for Manchester United, that would come out, which was yesterday morning, and then into lunchtime we got the Agame situation that was developing around Manchester United, potentially looking to make a bid for him. And you'd expect someone like a Romano and honestly, or someone bigger, Ben Jacobs, to come in and then kibosh it, back it, nothing. So what does that mean? It means that there's that much probably going on in the transfer market in this last 2 weeks with everything else that they probably haven't had time to look into it in detail, first of all. But it does look like this is gathering momentum when it comes to the possibility of United bringing him in. It's not ideal for Manchester United at the moment. It's not the best situation in terms of selling players, and we know this. We'll get into that in a moment and get you the updates on what's happening, because there is both updates on Sancho and Garnacho. But first of all, the Agame situation and how this came about, because he has been on Manchester United's list, but he's been on other football clubs' list as well. The update on this being from Tottenham side of things and how things changed there, and why he hasn't moved already this summer. He has been targeted by some bigger clubs. Lucien Agame is open to a move at the end of this window. He wants to leave Seville, so that's a definite. So we know the player is open to moving. If Manchester United make their move, obviously they will make their move the way that they have done throughout this window, making sure that the player wants to come to United and that he is definitely all in on the personal side of things. Now, Spurs did want Agame first of all, but the injury to James Maddison caused a bit of a problem there, and then searching for a number 10 type of midfielder instead of the 6. It's thought that they're going to solely put their attentions to, obviously, Eberechi Eze and then a centre-back potentially as well now. So, Agame is basically available to anybody that wants to go in for him. He's open to the move to a bigger club. Obviously, Seville not in the best of times at the moment. His stats, as we said yesterday, line up amongst some of the best in the top 5 European leagues for tackles, interceptions. He is an out-and-out number 6. And again, you're looking at someone here to replace Manuel Ugarte. You're looking at someone to come in and play alongside Bruno Fernandes for Manchester United at this point here. And like we've said before, poses the question as to what's happening with Manchester United's midfield, because I look at that and I go, if you've got a fit, able, young 23-year-old who we're spending money on now, in this time when RUBEN Amorim is pleading with the board, meetings with the board to try and get him in these two more players that he feels is going to give him the edge this season, then that player is probably going to play. What is the point otherwise? So, when you look at it, you've got Ugarte, you've got Casemiro, you've got Bruno, you've got Kobbie Mainoo. Futures of them players, I think, all lie away for Manchester United as things stand at the moment, going into next summer. What happens with Mainoo past this? Well, obviously, that's that's a completely different subject, but it does sort of add to the chaos which is Manchester United's midfield at the moment. The one thing we know for certain is that RUBEN wants one more midfielder in at least this window, and he wants the goalkeeper in. this window. Manchester United for yesterday in terms of price and offer wise for Agourmet was around the £25 million mark, similar to Patrick Dorgu sort of prices, whereas Seville's price tag is about 34 million. So still not completely out of the way for Manchester United in terms of being able to afford him. They feel like they can get that deal down now that it looks like United are the main club in for him. So that, I think, he's probably fallen into Manchester United's favour. But again, it is going to come down to the recruitment side battling it out with RUBEN Amorim. You don't want to bring in anybody just for the sake of bringing a signing in. We've discussed that all last night anyway. And I think that's probably the stance of the football club as well. Like, nobody wants to just bring in another squad player. Is he going to play? And that's the question, I think, and that's the discussions that are probably going on internally right now, because I don't think United are going to be able to go out and get, say, a Adam Wharton. They're not going to break the bank for him. And I look at this and probably think there is a player there isn't too much money. There's a player there that isn't actually going to set Manchester United's plans for next summer too far back either, and I think this is what United are now looking at. I do believe that a simple sort of loan deal, possibly or potentially, I thought the João Palhinha one was ideal for United, just to loan him from Bayern Munich. I thought that would have just dealt with the situation that we've got right now. No expense for United and an experienced Premier League player in there to work alongside Bruno Fernandes, who's going to do all of the dirty work. But look, we'll see if it turns out to be a good signing for Spurs throughout the window. But we are going to be in, I think, for a gourmet now from this point forward. Romano did say that Manchester United were offered Rabiot. I've got that down on my notes this morning as well. Just laugh it off. United are never going to go in for Adrien Rabiot. That again is scraping the barrel right now for Manchester United. They're not going to do it. I think that's been made very, very clear by the way that we've operated this, the way we've operated this summer already. So, no, them stories of Manchester United being offered Rabiot are not going to come to anything. I can pretty much guarantee that without even asking anyone, because of, like I just said, like the way that we have done business. They're bringing players in, I feel, that are going to do a job for Manchester United in RUBEN Amorim's system. And I said this before, I don't know. I don't know who Manchester United are going to go for. Maybe there is a surprise package. Maybe there is somebody to come out from nowhere that surprises us all. But he definitely wants a midfielder. At the moment, I can see Agourmet being that type of player. I think maybe Stiller, like I mentioned the other day, from Stuttgart. They're the affordable ones for Manchester United right now. It doesn't look like they're going to break the bank for anybody unless it's a Adam Wharton or Carlos Baleba type of player. They're not going to go into their credit facility for players that are not top class. That, I think, has been made clear by Manchester United so far. And I can see why we would be doing a deal like this. I really do. Into that as well, Manchester United looking to spend approximately £40 million on the two players coming in. Now, I've seen two more stories this morning already, one on Gimme Sport and one on from Sean Connolly as well online, about Seny Lamens coming to Manchester United. Now, we brought you the piece last night from Simon Jones from the Daily Mail saying that Manchester United's hierarchy and inside of Manchester United are happy with the three goalkeepers because of their data analysis. And the data is telling them that them players are good enough. I laughed it off by saying how you can even bring Tom Heaton into a data analysis conversation is beyond belief, because I cannot remember the last time the guy played in a professional or a competitive game of football. So, and Bayende has not even played 10 games for Manchester United. So that, again, I look at and go, where are you getting that from? And data analysis takes you so far with goalkeepers. RUBEN wants a keeper. He definitely wants a keeper. The story that came about last night with the internal... Some people are reporting it bigger than what it actually is. The internal sort of fight between RUBEN Amorim and Manchester United bosses right now, Sir Jim Radcliffe, that he wanted Emi Martinez. That was the story that was going around yesterday. And some actually going as far in the tabloids as to say RUBEN could walk away from this for Manchester United if he doesn't get the backing that he needs. That I cannot believe at all. But that's how far they will go with a little snippet of news of Manchester United's hierarchy not agreeing with RUBEN Amorim. Because again, like we said, like we've discussed, everybody knows that Manchester United need a goalkeeper. Everybody knows Ruben wants a goalkeeper. So if we don't get one, automatically them reports and them stories are going to start floating around about Manchester United being at war internally between the manager and the coaching and the recruitment team, and all of them stories are coming out. I don't believe that is the case. I honestly don't. But again, these stories on Sonny Lamans are saying, and it's completely different to what the Daily Mail was saying, is that they are very confident now of getting Sonny Lamans in at Manchester United, and that him and Lucien Agame from Seville could be the two players that Ruben Amorim is wanting right now. I don't think they're his top targets. Definitely not his top targets. But in terms of this system and what it's going to bring him as an option, definitely in the goalkeeping side of things, I think it's definitely what Manchester United are probably going to have to do, I think, because if we go into the season with the goalkeepers that we've got, then we're just going to be an absolute car crash at times, and it's going to ruin everything that he is trying to do. I actually believe, and my own opinion on this is that Ruben knows he's getting more out of the outfield, but as long as the goalkeepers are making mistakes, and I don't care what he says to the media, he knows he needs another goalkeeper. It's as simple as that. And I think even Sonny Lamans, you're not 100% certain that he is going to be the right type of goalkeeper for Manchester United. I don't see him being someone who just goes in and commands that position straight away. Like the other signings that we've made, he's not going to walk straight into this side. He's going to be a number 2 at the start. We know he is because of this crazy love affair with Andre Onana at Manchester United internally. That this guy is going to be good enough for Manchester United going forward. Yeah, you know. I don't need to tell you my side of Andre Onana again. I've said it so many times before. But Lamans coming in. The only problem I've got with this story, and where I want to believe the story that United are going for it, I can't fully get behind it yet because we've still got the 3 goalkeepers. And again, it's the problem. Manchester United have still not managed to sell one player this summer. They cannot get rid of them for love and the money. And why is this? It's because they're shit. Sorry for swearing. It is. And that's why no one wants them. That's why we can't sell them. But our data analysis is telling us that they're going to be okay for United and for everything in the future of this football club and competing in the top 4 and staying up there. These players are going to be good enough for the club. Complete and utter BS. Because they're not. So that's why that story from the Daily Mail yesterday, I just do not believe that there is everybody at Manchester United is solely trusting in this data analysis that them goalkeepers at the football club right now are good enough for Manchester United. Ruben knows and the coaching staff know that they need another one. Now the reports on Sonny Lamans, 13 million, obviously you would add that to a Gourmet's price. That brings us in and around the sort of £40 million mark. And considering we was about to spend 100 million on Carlos Baleba, Manchester United fans know, and everybody around the transfer side of things right now knows that this club have got money to spend there if they want to. I just don't think they're willing to spend anything that they have got aside, revolving credit facility-wise, or anything they've got available, unless the players are absolutely bang on. They're not going to make the mistakes again. They're not going to do what we did in previous seasons by bringing anybody in. I just don't know why we wasn't alive to this earlier on in the window and potentially looking at loan deals that could happen for United. I really don't understand why we're in the position where we are right now with 12 days left to go in the window and we still haven't got ourselves a midfielder. I understand the priority was the forward line, but there had to have been a plan B for a midfielder, surely, for Manchester United, and definitely for the goalkeeper. I am not having any of it. How many goalkeepers have Manchester United been linked to this summer? We've been doing it now for nearly 3 months of this transfer window. I have mentioned must be at least a dozen goalkeepers for Manchester United, potential stories coming in. I'm sorry, there is never that many stories unless there is something significant happening behind the scenes. And I do believe United are on the hunt for a goalkeeper. I just don't think that the right one is there for Manchester United right now. I think the academy goalkeepers are too far away yet. They need another season to develop, like Vitek. it is a huge risk. This is what we discussed last night, that the risk of Manchester United trying to hold on to these players and hope that these goalkeepers are going to be good enough. It could completely scupper a complete season for United. It really could. Look, let's get into the comments early doors on the... Well, first of all, like the two players that we're talking about here. Do you think that these are good enough players for Manchester United? Do you think that this is the right way to go? Are you one of them fans that wants that midfielder in and the goalkeeper in, no matter what? Or do they have to be better? Do they have to definitely stand out as first-team starters for us to go and spend any money on them right now? Because the stories we're going to talk about regarding the Manchester United outgoing side of things tells you that we haven't got a lot of money past this window. And if we don't recruit, then, well, we are hoping that this team, with these goalkeepers and that midfield, is going to be good enough to get United back in Europe next season, to give us a chance in the next summer transfer window. That's what we're looking at right now, I feel. Let's get some comments on this. Let's just scroll right up here and just see what we've got. First of all, Gricker says... someone else talking about a different conversation there. Gary makes a point here about Kobbie Mainoo, saying Kobbie is far better player as a 10 than Mount is, a better 6 than Agate, in my opinion. And he is a born and bred Manc, which is what United's history is built on. Born and bred Manc doesn't mean that you are good enough to play for Manchester United, though, Gary. Come on. We know this. And Kobbie Mainoo isn't going to get into this side ahead of any of the other 10s. I don't think Kobbie Mainoo is going to get in ahead of Mason Mount as number 10. I don't think he's going to get in ahead of Joshua Zirkzee as a number 10 at the moment. I really don't. This story of RUBEN Amorim and this big plan for Kobbie Mainoo, I just don't see it. I don't see where Kobbie fits in. I'm waiting for the surprise. I'm waiting to see where he plays him, because he's not coming in ahead of Mbeumo and Cunha, and we haven't got European football, so you'd expect them to play the majority of the games for Manchester United. We've said before, Bruno Fernandes is always going to be ahead of him. And then he's fighting against the other two midfielders there in Casemiro and Agate to play in at the number 6, which he isn't, and not his natural position. And we've seen on Sunday he was an unused substitute in a big game. So what is the big plan for Kobbie Mainoo? Because straight away, one game in, I'm not seeing it, and I'm not confident that there is any big plan for Kobbie apart from him being sold. That sounds absolutely brutal, ruthless, but I'm just looking at the situation as it is. I want him to play. I just don't know where he's going to fit in. I really don't. Like, this is what happens at clubs. If we could have swapped one of our 10s, if we could have swapped 2 of our 10s for one midfielder, we'd still be okay in the number 10 area. That's how overloaded in one position we are. It is ridiculous how United have got so many 10s fighting for the same spot. We're actually shoehorning 10s into midfield. How is this not organised at the start of the window and seen as a problem coming? Because I don't know how he keeps Kobbie Mainoo happy at this point. And let's be honest, we know where he's at with the situation with his new contract as well, or potential new contract. So big problems are coming, I think, for United in handling Kobbie Mainoo. And I don't know how they're going to do it, because he clearly will never drop Bruno Fernandes. And I don't think he's going to play Mason Mount deeper. I think the fact that we actually had Mason Mount in the front three with everyone available on Sunday against Arsenal tells you exactly where RUBEN Amorim is going with this. So, again, concerns. Aerial duels 1, 85% defensive actions, 96%. Agame is a beast, says Mark. If we don't fix the keeper issue, then we drop more points. Anana and Bayende aren't good enough, says Tom. Agree with that one, definitely. If Sancho and Garnacho don't want to go, I'll say we make them the tea ladies. Yeah. I can make a bet. We're not signing a Gourmet. It's an agent using United. This is another Javi Guerra case. I don't know. This, I think, could have legs because Manchester United are in the depths of the window. Don't get me wrong. There is stories like this that are just going to pop up. And this is why I said at the start of the show, I was expecting one of the bigger accounts, one of the bigger journalists to come out and say that this is not happening for Manchester United. I thought Romano might have come out last night and quashed the Agame situation. I thought he might have said something on the goalkeeping situation, but all Romano is saying on that at the moment is it's going to be Senny Lamens if any goalkeeper is coming in. Nothing else is happening. And so, yeah, and what we're looking at here, I feel, is the craziness of the transfer window ending and bringing out all of these stories. But I do think, because Manchester United have been linked with Vergaame before, and we are looking at him, he is on our list, that maybe it does have legs. And Manchester United need a midfielder. Like I said, if he's not going to use Mainoo, and he's not going to start Agate in his bigger games, I know it's horses for courses, and you adapt to every single game, and that is a positive. And it is one game. And we could, I could be looking at this, and then 2 months down the line, we're seeing Kobbie Mainoo somewhere in that midfield. Again, I said it so many times. Ruben Amorim will live and die on his Bruno Fernandes sword. And if he keeps on playing him, then Kobbie Mainoo is always going to be second fiddle. A big decision needs to be made. But while Bruno's the captain, and Bruno is Manchester United's star player, and the one that Ruben Amorim turns to, then I don't feel Kobbie Mainoo stands a chance at Manchester United. And I hate saying that, by the way. I really don't want to, but I just look at what's in front of me right now, and I cannot see where he comes in or fits in. It's really awkward. Manny with a super chat says, I know we are serious about a goalkeeper and a central midfielder. Next window, it's time to focus on 3 points against Fulham. No, mate, not in the last 2 weeks of the window, it's not. Sorry. We can't do that. That's impossible, mate. Tylen says, why is anyone mad at Sancho when he has a valid contract? Is that? Why is anyone mad at Sancho? Because he won't sign for anybody else. And that's why we're mad at him. I mean, if you're loving Sancho right now, you might get a bit of a backlash on that one. But I think everybody knows why we're mad at Jadon Sancho. Because he's looking for his 5th club in as many seasons, mate. That's why. MU struggling to sell because the players are awful. I would rather have a new number 1 goalkeeper than midfielder. Goalkeeper will let in goals and corners, says Andreas. And Manny again says, Mainoo fits in long term. The kid's a teen. He is being groomed for a decade in a red shirt. Ruben plays long game. 5D chess. Bruno leaves in 2 seasons. Yeah, but Mainoo wants 180 grand a week, Manny. Now. And he's not playing. That's what we're talking about. It's going to come to a head and he's not playing football. He's not going to be in the World Cup. He's not going to be in the England team. Not in a Ruben Amorim system. And Kobbie Mainoo, I'm sorry, mate, he's not going to wait 2 years for Bruno Fernandes to leave. Which is why I think every one of our midfielders right now, next summer, could be looking elsewhere. Every single one of them. We could need a completely new midfield developing at Manchester United. That's what we're looking at. We will be talking about the outgoings in just a second, actually. But again, is there anybody in that is confident right now that the goalkeeping situation will be rectified? Or is last night's story really where it's at? Are we looking at Manchester United holding on to the 3 goalkeepers that we've actually got and thinking that they are the best options for us going forward? Let me know. Get into the comment section before we move on. Didn't Mainoo come back as a beast for pre-season? This must mean that he is going to be converted into an 8. Yeah, you can be a beast. You can, but if you haven't got the legs and you're not quick enough, then the 8 is where you're going to struggle. That is the worst position if you haven't got that speed to get up and down the pitch, which I don't think Kobbie Mainoo does have. If he gets up the pitch and he's on the edge of that box, then you better hope that there's a brave centre-back that has come forward into the position that he is vacating. Otherwise, we are going to be stuck. And that's the Ruben system like that. Can he train them centre-backs into being brave enough in stepping forward? Because that's what them centre-backs did against Arsenal. And the system could actually work for Manchester United if we get that drilled and get that into our centre-backs, because that is where we have the problem, the overload in midfield. They have to be brave enough to turn into midfielders when that number 8 goes, or the number 6 has to push forward because the 8 has left that gap. There is another one that needs filling behind it. So effectively, if Bruno Fernandes marauds forward, Kobbie Mainoo is there as a 6, and then one of the centre-backs a De Ligt or a Euro has to tuck in, and then you're relying on your wing-backs to then get back up and down. That's why they need to be athletic to come in and possibly cover on any counter-attack that creeps in. This is why profile of player is so crucial for Ruben Amorim and his system. I think that is why he has concerns over Kobbie and over Ugarte. And just don't get me wrong, like, I want Kobbie to start. I want him to be in this team. I love the guy. I think he's got such a ceiling and a quality to come. I just, at the moment, hopefully he's patient. Hopefully he stays patient and he can become that player we know that he can be. And he isn't another one of these lost academy players, because that at the moment is something that is clear to everybody to see. The Manchester United academy players that have come through that have already thought they have made it, and we know who we're talking about here, has been a big problem, and is a massive problem right now for United in trying to sell players. That, I think, is clear for everyone to see. A couple more super chats before we move on. Manny again says, forget Wharton. If I was coaching Hayden Hackney, no, Wharton is a great player. He's better than Hayden Hackney, mate. Come on. Who gave Sancho the contract he has? Ed Woodward. Yes, I know what you're saying, Thailand. I mean, you can keep defending Sancho all you want, mate, but you're not going to get any change out of me at all. The man is an absolute disgrace of a footballer. He is a sad, sad case of a footballer, mate. I'm sorry. The fact that he has turned down all of these clubs because he wants to keep his contract and not play football. There is good money to be made elsewhere. And the fact that he is clinging on has been a problem for every single manager that he has played under. And that is factual right there. It tells you that this guy was wrongly recruited. Yeah, he's got a contract and he can see it out. I would love Jadon Sancho to stay at Manchester United and sit out that contract, mate. There's nothing more I want right now than to see that man sat in Carrington playing no football. If he's happy to take his money and not play at all, good on him. But you will be looked at as, oh God, can you imagine what he'd be looked at as if that actually happens this season? I want that to happen. I don't want him to go. I want him to sit there and rot. That's what I want Jadon Sancho to do. Kobbie an 8, but only in a midfield 3. Otherwise, it's a 10. If that is the case, then he won't play. And that's another super chat from Ant there again. Thank you very much, mate. You'll see some people reporting the story on Adrien Rabiot. It's not happening, everybody. It's a nonsense story, a complete and utter nonsense story. And United are never going to go in for Adrien Rabiot. It's not the profile of player that Manchester United under Ineos were going to get. We had the chance to get him last summer and we didn't. So no, it's a different profile that Manchester United are looking at. And it's an absolute garbage story. It really is. Sancho is the worst signing ever. Let him rot. Yep, let's just see what happens with that one right now, because obviously from yesterday and where we're actually up to with Jadon Sancho is... I'll just bring it up to you right now. This was from Alfredo Padula on Jadon Sancho and the Roma situation. Roma have a complete agreement with Manchester United. They all know it, and so it depends on Sancho. Maybe Sancho doesn't want to give up some of his money he is currently on. He could decide to, with all due respect, go to a league that is less important than Serie A, but it would be Sancho's problem to play in a smaller league. Sancho would rather keep his money than play for a bigger club. Like you look at it, like you look at Roma, it's a big club, and they're offering decent money. He doesn't want to go there. He thinks he should be at these clubs on the money that he's on right now. I don't get how a player thinks that he should be on that money when he has been passed from pillar to post for the last 3 seasons between all different clubs around Europe. Like, that shouts out one thing. It shouts out that Manchester United have got a problem player there. They have. Just an update on things that are coming in this morning as well, everyone. Lucien Agome is Manchester United's priority target. Seville would be willing to sell him for close to £30 million. That's coming from El Sevillista. I think that's obviously a Spanish account there as well on things there. Again, a few people are reporting on that one this morning. And we'll see. We'll see if it actually does come to anything, or if it actually comes out that United are in for him. I'm waiting for this because there's a lot of news right now floating around that Manchester United are in for him, and we do need someone to come in and actually say that this is real or not now, one of the big accounts. So let's see how this one develops, and let's see what happens with it. Just to quickly, on the Senny Lamens one, just to round it off from what Sean Connolly said earlier on, it was, although outgoings are a priority, Manchester United officials remain keen on bringing Senny Lamens in this summer. Ruben Amorim is a big admirer. After providing the green light in July, the player wants the move. Again, I don't know what Manchester United are doing. Is it a case of we're just struggling to move on our goalkeepers? Can we shift them on in any way? Is there any desperate push from Manchester United now in the last 12 days to get these deals done? That's what we're hoping anyway. Well, every United fan is hoping, because I think the general consensus from last night's show about Manchester United looking to trust in the three goalkeepers we've got off data analysis went down like a lead balloon. Not a chance. Did you see the story last night from Kaveh Solikov from Sky Sports when reporting on the Alejandro Garnacho situation? Now, last night we did the story on what Romano was saying, that Garnacho only wants Chelsea. He turned down Bayern Munich, and this deal is now advanced. Great relationship between Omar Barada and the Chelsea hierarchy. No problems at all, Romano said. Well, going off what everyone else apart from Romano is saying, that relationship is about to be completely ripped up, because Kaveh last night said that Chelsea value Alejandro Garnacho at 25 million. Get that. 25 million is what they're willing to pay Alejandro Garnacho. That is absolutely ridiculous. That's bordering on the obscene in terms of what Chelsea are thinking there. Absolute numpties. I mean, when you look at, for instance, the other players that have left clubs or sales that have gone through this summer already, just to put it into comparison, Chelsea rate Garnacho at 25 million. Amari Hutchinson, 37.5 million. Dan Adoy, 40 million. Dango Otara, 42.5 million. Jacob Ramsey, 43 million. Noni Madueke, 50 million. Jamie Gittins, 51 million. Anthony Elanga, 55 million. João Pedro, 60 million. And Chelsea value Garnacho at 25 million. There is the clear Manchester United problem right there. Players that think they've made it, that have caused a problem, it gets reported and leaks come out from within Manchester United, and then everybody in the world of football knows that Manchester United have got a problem and they want rid of a player. Therefore, in come the stupid bids. Let's take the mick out of Manchester United. I would go into the revolving credit facility if you really want these players. Particularly, I would just go and get Senny Lamens. You know you're going to have enough money to get Senny Lamens in. Honestly, why Manchester United kept hold of Tom Heaton in the summer, retained him as a number 3. He could have easily brought another goalkeeper in. I said this before, like, Tom's a great lad, but like, he's 40. He's never going to play for United. Why is he there? Why is he being paid as a player when he's not going to play? Maybe some coaching role or something like that. I don't know. But Tom Heaton is not going to play for Manchester United, even though he's better than the 2 goalkeepers that we've got. Everybody knows this. Malassi will go. There's enough money there probably off that one to get at least Senny Lamens through the door. Just get Senny Lamens. Get the goalkeeper in. If this is the keeper that you want and you're convinced, then go and get him. We cannot go into the season without. And then let these players all rot on the sidelines. Look, and let's not forget, people can back up these players and say, well, they're on these contracts, it's not their fault. Garnacho, look, if they're not going to pay the money, why is it Garnacho's fault? Well, Garnacho clearly leaked the news. I know that's not a definite and it's not a guarantee, but come on, who else is going to do it? With the way that his agent and his brother's running his mouth, what Garnacho's done in a Villa shirt already, the way he's disrespected the football club and what he's said after the season finished, you know that there is form for it. So I'm purely guessing that it is him, but look, the leaks have come out. Garnacho is a problem. They're getting lowball offers for all of our players right now, and it's a massive problem for Manchester United in moving these players on. But we had offers from Bayern Munich for Garnacho at a reasonable price, no doubt, I'm guessing. But the fact that Garnacho is only wanting to move to Chelsea is stopping any kind of, well, it's not so much a bidding war, but it just keeps the price at a right level. While Chelsea know that all he wants is Chelsea, they're going to keep on bidding low. Stand your ground. Don't sell. Don't sell him, United. That's what I'm saying right now. Don't sell him. We've got enough to go out and get a goalkeeper at least. And then if we have to fight our way through the season with the midfield that we've got, and we hope, like we've just discussed there, that Kobbie Mainoo could come through and play a part in this, then that's the way it's going to have to be. Work the system in rather than wasted money. That's what I would say. Look, I like the looks of a Gourmet, but again, it's an unproven player coming to the Premier League. Should we be wasting money, or should we be waiting to spend it on targets that really are going to make a difference next season? I don't know. But at the moment, there is a bigger issue at Manchester United, which is these players thinking they can do what they want. And as soon as Manchester United stamp this out, and hopefully we do this summer, in that Garnacho and Sancho will probably leave in January because they haven't decided on a club and they want money, well, Man United hopefully stand their ground, and then players will rot for another 6 months until we get to January. Well, not 6 months, but obviously a few months into the season, 4 months, and then they can move. They can move then. So, yeah, that's how I see Manchester United stance. I just don't think they're going to sell them. I think they want to, and at the right price they will do, but I don't think they're going to sell them at these prices that are being thrown around at the moment. And this is why we haven't sold the players. I think there is internally bids coming in for these want-away players, this bomb squad, but I don't think Manchester United have accepted any of them. I really don't. Man United should take accountability for bad contracts. Yeah, they should. They should do. But let's not forget, the Manchester United that's in place now, the management team, did not make these signings, and they're making their own rules up. And these players don't like it. Sancho, Garnacho, Rashford, all of these players before, with the old regime, got away with things. And the club has changed. Sorry, you're going to have to fall into line. Simple as. And that's why I think United are taking account for this by not selling the players and stopping them playing. And then let's see what they do. Players like Garnacho and Sancho, who think they are worth so much money, that are not playing any football at all in pre-season, that are not going to be playing at the start of this season. That season's already now going into week 2 this weekend, and they're nowhere near fit enough or ready to play football. How does that look? How does that make them look? It makes them look pathetic. Their offers are there. Clubs wanted these players, and they decided no. Not United, the players. They're not moving. Sancho could have already been playing for Roma. He could already be in there and done. He could be over in Turkey. He could be anywhere right now. There's plenty of offers there for Jadon Sancho. Plenty of clubs that are going to take him. But he doesn't want to go. He wants more money. That's a decision that he is allowed to make. That's fine. But what Manchester United's position is that doesn't matter to them. They want their price. They're in charge of the situation, and this is the way that things are going to go now at United. So Sancho, fine, wait it out. Garnacho, fine, only want to go to Chelsea. United need to stand firm on both of these players. And also Anthony as well. Nothing at all on Anthony right now. I don't know what is going on. No idea what is going on with Anthony. There is no news whatsoever anywhere. I've looked, I've digged into every story. What is going on? Why are we not hearing anything? With 12 days left of this window, nothing at all on Anthony. It's weird. How did Arsenal get rid of Aubameyang? Paid him off. Yeah, well, they're in a position to do that right now. Jadon Sancho, obviously, that is part of the severance pay. Like, that's what happens. But Jadon Sancho, apparently behind the scenes, isn't willing to work on a severance pay like every other player does. He wants full money. He is full on a backlash mode for Manchester United. Digging his heels in. Good for you, mate. Go for it. Don't care. Rot in the reserves. Rot on the sidelines. I nominate Casemiro to perform the reducer on Garnacho. His retribution on James and Milner makes him my preferred candidate. Casemiro knows how to do it. Good point made, Graham, on that one. Also, as well, in the news this morning, quickly, I just want to try and get through everything that we can. Manchester United, as you can see at the bottom of your screen there, Manchester United have actually been approached by 4 clubs over the last few days over Joshua Zirkzee for his services. Now, United could have easily sold Joshua Zirkzee and got some money back in, cleared the debts off Zirkzee, probably even made a tidy little profit on him from what we paid if there's this many clubs in for him. But United have said not for sale. And again, that leads me to think, if Joshua Zirkzee is not for sale, then where does he fit in to Manchester United's squad? Is there a big plan for him? Is he stopping Kobbie Mainoo play in his preferred position as well? I think so. I really do. I think Zirkzee will play, and this is a big shout, but I actually think that Joshua Zirkzee will play a bigger role than what Kobbie Mainoo will this season for Manchester United. I actually think that he is going to feature more in a way. I've just got a feeling that there is a position for Zirkzee somewhere off the bench here. Not in many starts. I don't think he's going to start many games. But again, that will be the same for Kobbie Mainoo. Unless this big plan from RUBEN Amorim comes in for Kobbie. I don't know why he wouldn't have started against Arsenal, apart from him looking at Arsenal and specifically going with the team that he did for that day. I think looking into Fulham, Grimsby, and then Burnley, I think this will tell us a lot about what Ruben's thinking for the majority of the season. There'll be certain games where Kobbie probably comes out, but I'm hoping we see Kobbie Mainoo against Fulham. I'm hoping we see him in Grimsby and in the Burnley games as well, because I think he is an absolute threat, and he's an outstanding player, and I think we are better with him on top form in our side. But I think Ruben is definitely going off what the Arsenal game was. I think looking at every game differently this season, I think he's going to have to do that. He's going to have to be changes for each game. He's going to have to adapt to each game, and I think that's what he will do. The back pages of all of the Italian newspapers this morning, put up online by Damasio, are covered with Rasmus Højlund to AC Milan stories. That is dominating the headlines over in Italy this morning. Whether or not we get more stories coming off the back of that through other journalists today, we will wait and see. And obviously, we'll keep an eye on that one. But Rasmus Højlund is another player who is a problem for Manchester United at the moment. It's going to come to a point where you've got all of these players. They do need to do something in terms of moving the players on, because how do you house players that are not wanted? And how do you integrate them into a squad without upsetting the balance that's already there now? So we made a big point in the summer about not integrating these players back into Manchester United's squad. Not really talking about Rasmus here. He is part of it because he's not a problem. The problem with Rasmus is that Ruben doesn't want him in his side. He works hard, he does everything right, he's a professional footballer, and he comes across that way. So, no issue there. But my big concern is with this, is there a point, if we don't sell these players, that they have to come back in at some point because they're professionals and being paid a lot of money? And this is where I think at the end of it, with everything that I'm saying, like, we're all happy for these players to rot. It's great. But Ineos need to somehow make Ruben's life easier here. And is this what everybody else looking in, like opposition clubs at Manchester United, are thinking right now? They're going to buckle. They're going to have to buckle and sell these players. And we will just wait it out. They know that this is coming. But if this takes away the problem of Garnacho, Sancho, Antony, Malacia, like if Manchester United get rid of these players for smaller fees and we don't bring in the 100 million that we really want to for these players, and it turns out to be 50 or 60 million for these players, is that not for the better and the greater good for RUBEN Amorim anyway? Like, it is keeping face by holding out, I get it, but this is the other side of the argument. Like, I'm happy for these players to rot in the reserves, but is that going to be a problem for RUBEN Amorim throughout the season? If it is, then Ineos need to make a decision, because he's backing him in terms of bringing money in, but he's also backing him in taking a hit and moving these players out, because at the end of the day, Ruben just does not want to work with him. And that has been made clear. So you might have to sell. You might have to sell Garnacho cheap. You might have to sell Jadon Sancho even cheaper to counter the wages and the severance pay that we need to get out and take massive hits on these players. Let Anthony go on loan with a big option to buy, but get a big loan fee for him. Take £3 or £4 million for Malacia. Send Rasmus on loan with a loan fee and have it as an option with certain things triggering an obligation to buy it. Maybe United at one point in this window just go bang, 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 bang and just make cutthroat decisions on all of these players and take a massive hit just to help Ruben out for the sake of the squad and the actual environment around Carrington that he's built right now being completely ruined. Because if Garnacho and Sancho come back into that squad, then I can guarantee you that the atmosphere changes instantly. They cannot be part of it. And then the question, like I just said then, is asked, how do you deal with that situation through a season? Through a 9-month season with them players that nobody wants, that are still friends with most of the squad. You've seen what's happening right now at Newcastle. And more on that on Football Talks in a bit. But there's now civil war within Newcastle. You've got Bruno Guimaraes coming out saying what he's saying. Some players want him. Some players are on his side. Some players want him out of the squad completely and sold no matter what. They won't even accept him back in the changing room. When you've got mates, and everyone is mates at a football club, when you've got that going on around in the background, it is a huge problem for the manager to try and deal with. It will get in the way and it will cause a problem. Where's my head at the moment? I think United want to stand their ground. But what's the contingency? What do we do? What do we do with these players? They cannot train on their own all season, can they? You'd expect them to have to do some form of team training at some point. Otherwise, the value is just going to go off the scale and you end up losing them for nothing. And that's a problem for United. Something is better than nothing. And you're arguing against, really, Manchester United making a stance here against what has been a problem at this football club for so many years now. Manny says, if you listen to Ruben, you'll pick up he needs depth. That's 4 times 10s, 4 8/6s. It's a rotating squad system. That's where Mainoo Xerxes once over injury fit. They're not going to start ahead of Mbumo or Cunha, mate. These players are going to play every single game this season, and it's keeping everybody happy. I don't see it happening. Xerxes is not going to start ahead of either one of them two. Kobbie Mainoo is not going to start ahead of Mbumo and Cunha. The difference in quality is clear for everyone to see. 1 game a week, them players are going to be very comfortable with that, and that's where the problem is. If it was in Europe, Manny, bang on the money, mate. That's exactly what will be happening. I just don't see it happening that often this season. I don't think there is the same opportunity. Manu paid a lot to get Sancho out and give a chance to. He has been terrible and never proved himself. After a year of not playing, you are not worth a lot. You're not worth a lot, and that's how other clubs will look at it. But Manchester United have got a bid on the table for Jadon Sancho, 20 million, which is really good. We're lucky to get that. But obviously, Jadon Sancho doesn't want to go, and that's the other part of it. And Jadon Sancho is fully lashing out at Manchester United at this point. He is trying to take Manchester United for as much as he possibly can. In his eyes, he thinks he's right, and that's the problem. Players do have power. They have a lot of power. And them contracts are very, very, let's just say, what's the right word to use for them? They are obviously they're binding, and they are going to be the biggest problem in any player, I feel, in being sold. Like the contracts that players get these days, and this is why it takes so long for transfers to go through when it comes to finalising everything. You have to be completely on top of every single tiny little detail. It just looks like Manchester United have just half-heartedly given these contracts out before, because we have people running the football club that weren't qualified to do so. Get 35 mil for Garnacho, a loan fee for Anthony, then let Sancho rot. We need down payments for the central midfielder and the goalkeeper. It says DOP. If United sells for less, that sends out a message. Yes, it does, but it's also a problem in dealing with the players if they're still there. The problem you've got is that at Manchester United need these players out for Ruben Amorim's sake. That's it. And if they're not out, then there's a bigger problem within the squad. But the reality is, if United sell for less, then at least them players are gone and the problem is gone. cut your cloth according, I'm afraid, isn't it, with United right now? We are struggling. We are struggling big time to move these players on. Listen, we could take less for these bums, but it'll cost us 100 million extra in future transfers. Other clubs will know we are still weak and can be manipulated. We can't afford that. Draw a line. Yeah, I get that point, Ant. But also, when you look at this, these are real problem players, and we are now rid of them players. And like I said yesterday and throughout the week, Manchester United now have a starting 11 and a squad of players that teams actually will want to buy. Manchester United can't find anybody for these issues. And these are absolutely ludicrous situations that we're dealing with right now. It's not the norm. The norm is, like we just reported there, 4 clubs have come in for Joshua Zirkzee. That means he's got value. And United could get a decent fee. But he's valuable to RUBEN too. Manchester United will have offers in. We just had 100 million on the table for Bruno Fernandes. We turned that down as well. Players inside Manchester United after this season is finished, I feel, will be worth a lot more money. And this scenario won't come about again because United won't be looking to sell as many players because the squad is good. There'll be the odd one that is really good, that is probably wanting to move away, and someone might come in for him because there isn't room for him in the squad right now. Manchester United are in a completely different situation to any other football club this summer. And I get what people are saying, draw the line now. I think United have drawn the line by letting these players rot for so long and not get any pre-season at all. They have stood firm and not buckled. And it must be doing the players' heads in right now. But is this problem going to come back again? Are we going to have a Garnacho going out to the media, leaking things, social media posts? Are we going to have a Jadon Sancho? Are we going to have a Marcus Rashford? By the way, internally in Barcelona right now, there are reports from Spanish media that Marcus Rashford is already being seen as a player that isn't working hard enough. And he's going to be one of them players likened to João Felix at the moment. That is a story going around in Spain. Whether it's true or not, you wouldn't be surprised because Marcus Rashford doesn't work hard enough, and we all know that. We've seen it on the pitch. And for him to run his mouth to Gary Lineker safely over there in the confines of Barcelona, again, it just shows you what he is and what type of character he is. Never his fault. Always an excuse. Rashford, Sancho, Garnacho, these players, the problems, they're not going to come about again. You look at the players that we've got in this squad right now. I don't think we're going to have this issue again if we run the club properly. And this is the point where it's like the big turning of the page. And this is what we've been talking about. Manchester United getting to this point where we are now going to look ahead and be operating in a completely different way with a different squad of players to what we've got right now. The crazy circus days are over at Manchester United. And that's how it seems. That's how we've operated this transfer window. And eventually, if United do take them cut prices on these players and take the loss, hopefully we don't have the same situation again because we're running the club properly and we're not allowing these players to just come in and get these stupid contracts. Contract renewals are few and far between at United. Have you noticed? There has been 2 in Ahmad and Bruno Fernandes. That's it. Nobody else. We are slowly but surely just weaning out the crap and the negative vibes from this club. It's taking longer than what we all hoped for, but it's that bad it's taking this long. I'm going to wrap up the show there, everybody. Please pop a like on the video. I've not asked for a like all the way through, so if you haven't already, please put a thumb up on the video. Everyone, make sure that you hit that subscribe button also as well. Thank you for watching all the other content throughout the day yesterday as well. Go catch up with that if you haven't seen it. It's a lot of detail on Gourmet and Garnacho from the back end of yesterday. And get your comments in below as well, please, everybody. That, for now, is it, everyone. Obviously, you see QR code on screen. Check out your retro replicas as well from there. Get yourself a bargain. We are going to be doing giveaways at the end of the next 1,000 subscribers as well on the channel. So, at 98, we are going to be doing shirt giveaways on that. But grab yourself a bargain now. Links are all in the description. And I will see you all later on. I'm keeping you up to date with everything, so stay tuned. Keep bell notifications on.